Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday, and we've got a very special one-off review show special on Crystallize. This is my own product. I've had a lot of people ask me about this and ask me when it's available. It got launched at Blackpool. They want to know all about it. So I am going to break everything down and go through everything for you and talk to you all about Crystallize. Now, obviously, it's my own product. So obviously, if I'm going to review this, I'm going to give it a good review. I would not have released it to the Magic community if I didn't believe in this as a product. So that's the first thing I need you guys to know. It's obviously I'm gonna like it. So if you're looking for a review where you're looking for different opinions, you might want to look elsewhere. I love this. Okay, that's the first thing that you should know. So what is Crystallize? Well, basically, the history behind this is Neil Preet came up with an absolutely amazing routine years ago. And it was absolutely amazing. And it was basically a ball in a salt shaker. So it was like a chopped up ball in a salt shaker. And the whole idea is that you made a ball disappear and you made it appear in a salt shaker. And I did that for a long time and I loved it, right? I absolutely loved it. And I did it a lot in restaurants. And the problem with it was it didn't feel very organic. It was an incredible concept, but it didn't feel very organic. And the reason it didn't feel very organic is because it's like one of those little chopped up balls, right? That nobody knows what they are. Like you've never seen anything like this before. So I wanted to come up with a way of making it more organic, and I had the idea of using a salt ball, a ball made out of salt. And I thought that'd be more organic because I could take the salt, I could make it into a salt ball, then I could do the routine with a salt ball and a salt shaker. And I was like, oh, that's a really nice idea. And I spent ages trying to find somebody that could do that, and there's nobody that could do that. And I'm like, darn it. And at the same time, the other problem with it, in my opinion, was, and this is just my hang up on it, is there was no ending, which is the same problem with a lot of routines these days. But there was no ending. It was like the ball goes into the salt shaker, 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 end of trick. And I wanted to try and come up with an ending. And I've always been a big fan of omni anything. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if at the end the salt shaker was crystal clear? Because if it was crystal clear and it was because the salt shaker looks see-through anyway. So if it's solid, if they wouldn't even realize it could be on the table from the beginning, and they'd pick it up and they'd be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I was like, oh, we could also make the lid clear. And I spent so much time and effort way back in about 2008, 2009. I went to so many salt shaker manufacturers asking them if they could do this, and they said no. And you know, I probably spent about 2 years trying to find somebody that can make this. Nobody could make it, so I just basically gave up. And then I left the Magic community and I came back, and at the beginning of lockdown, I think it was, or close to the beginning of lockdown, it was probably about April 2020, maybe May 2020, I contacted Dave Bonsall and I said, Dave, this is what I want to do. Is it doable? And he said, no. I was like, okay, Dave, thanks. If you can't do it, no one can. And then he said, look, let me give it a go. And a year and a half later, this is what we've come up with, Crystallize, which is, I never thought Dave would be able to do this, and he has. And basically, I'm going to do an unboxing here and show you the props, because this is not a cheap set, and I want you to see exactly what you get with this. So the first thing that you get is you get a salt shaker. And now these salt shakers are designed to look basically like normal salt shakers. These are the salt shakers that you get in restaurants all around the world, right? You go into a restaurant, there's a very good chance there's a salt shaker like this. And that was done on purpose. The reason is you can almost borrow a salt shaker. You can act like you're picking a salt shaker up from another table and then go into this routine. It feels really organic, right? So, and it's the perfect size and it's the perfect shape, and the lid screws on really nicely. It's a great salt shaker. Then you get this. Now, this is the salt ball. This is one of the reasons why Dave Bonsall is such a genius, because you get salt. He spent a long time and effort making this. Now, I wish you were here and you could feel this, because this feels like this feels like a salt ball. If you were going to actually be able to make salt ball up by magic, this is what it would feel like. You can actually feel the salt around the outside. It feels so real. And we go through in the tutorial about how to reinvigorate this in a couple of seconds if salt starts falling off. Now, the premise behind this is it works a little bit like a chop cup, right? But the lid, this isn't chopped, the lid is chopped. So you also get another one of these balls that's chopped, which means that and this is the genius that is Neil Preet, it means that you could do and I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but you can show your salt shaker, you can show your salt ball, and you can just do a thing like that. You can have it go inside, and it looks absolutely incredible. And I've come up with a whole bunch of moves that make it look like it's going into and out of the salt shaker, almost like magic. And the nice thing is, because of how the lid is made, you can literally show this all around from every angle. You can take the ball, you can take the salt shaker, you can literally just shake it in and show it. And then you can literally have it come out like that. So it's a really beautiful moment, it really is. So you get the salt shaker, you get the two balls, you get everything there. The next thing that you get is this. So this is an Omni salt shaker. Now, this took a long time to put together. There's so many different ways. I've got videos of my phone of updates that Dave sent me with hundreds of different prototypes. Literally, the amount of prototypes he went through is crazy. So he went through a lot of different prototypes. This is the finished version. He used liquid glass. Now, if you don't know what liquid glass is, it's the stuff that they use in movies to make the weapons that they hit people over the head with, like the bottles that break and everything. That's liquid glass. So this is made out of liquid glass. So you can just put it on the table and it looks exactly the same as this. But when they pick it up and they look at it, they realize it's absolutely solid. We tried resin first of all, but resin does not work over the course of a couple of weeks. It'll break down and it starts looking just like nothing. And there's so many different ways we tried to do this, but liquid glass is brilliant. This was the breakthrough. So you've got your Omni salt shaker. Now, you also have, I've got spare balls in here, obviously. You also have a solid lid. So this lid is solid and it feels really solid as well because it's got a weight in there, right? And the ball Dave has created this lid so that the ball looks like it's gone halfway through. Just during the course of the routine, you have this moment where they drop the ball and it goes halfway through the lid and then stops. And it was the genius that was Mark Bennett that actually suggested that to me. And this is just great. During the course of the routine, it's this moment here that allows you to very, very easily switch from this salt shaker to this salt shaker. Now, a few people said to me at Blackpool when I launched this, they said, oh, that's all well and good, but we don't think we'd want to do the thing where the ball goes halfway through. We just want a solid lid. And I just wanted to show you, I've got another lid here where I actually took the half a ball off. So you can actually have this just as a solid lid. So if you don't like the idea of the ball going halfway through, it's not that hard to just make this into a solid lid. With no ball going through, which is fine, and that works really, really well as well. So that's all of the props that you get, and then you get a 1-hour tutorial shot live at my favourite magic bar, which is Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol, owned by the incredible Mark Bennett. And in the tutorial you get 2 live performances. And then, as well as the live performances, you also get, which was shot again live at Smoke and Mirrors, you also get a full tutorial where I break all of the moves down. And the nice thing about this is you can create your own routine with it. So I go through what my routine is, but there's a whole bunch of moves that you can do with this. And you just pick the moves that are best for you. You know, and best for what you want to achieve. Like one of the things I like to do is a misdirection load. So they're looking at the ball over here and it appears on top of the salt shaker, which by the way is very, very easy to do because it's really nice. Because the magnet is in the lid, I should point this out to you. Because the magnet's in the lid, if I have this sort of situation, so because the magnet's in the lid, I can move the thing out the way, show this over here, vanish it, and it appears over there, and it stays on there perfectly. I don't need to balance it because of the magnet in the lid and the magnet in the ball, which is brilliant, really, really good. So yeah, so the tutorial goes through all these different moves, and what you do is you just pick whichever moves that you like the best, and you create a routine around those moves. And I explain how to do my moves and how to do my routine, but you can go in a completely different direction. I've already had people say to me that how they use Crystallize in a completely different way, and that's absolutely fine. Now I'm going to play you a full live performance. This is one of the live performances of the project. This is a live performance of me doing this at Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol. And again, thank you, Mark Bennett, for allowing us to use Smoke and Mirrors. I'm going to show you a full live performance. Rather than doing a studio performance, I think it would be better if you see a performance live in the real world. So here it is, a full live, unedited performance of Crystallize. Claire and Katie. You've seen a magician do tricks with playing cards. You've seen magicians do tricks with coins. In the show, you're going to see magicians do tricks with all kinds of weird and wonderful things. I am the only magician in the world that does tricks with salt. Sounds random, but we're going to go with it. What I have in my pocket is a salt shaker. And inside the salt shaker is a genuine salt. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to put the lid on the salt shaker because what you're going to see is impossible. And when I do this, people say, oh, you drop it in through the top, which I don't do. So to prove I don't do that, I put the lid on it, right? Now your job, guys, is to keep one eye on the salt ball, keep one eye on the salt shaker, keep one eye on me. Okay. You leave next eye, you can say. Right, are you ready? Yeah. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. You look so confused.
It's easily done.
Let's do this again. Cup your hands together for me. Let's just take it out. I'm gonna do it again because there's a rule in magic. Never repeat the trick. The first time it's entertainment. The second time it's educational. But I'm gonna do it again. The lid goes on. Is that fair? Yes.
Yes.
The ball goes here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I mean, honestly, isn't that the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Wow.
Now, I'm going to tell you, well, everybody always wants me to tell them how it works. Would you like to know how it works?
Yeah.
I can't actually tell you how it works. But what I can do is I can tell you how it doesn't work. Is that okay?
Okay.
You've got to watch the right thing. Watch the ball. Can you see the ball?
Yeah.
Don't blink, because if you watch the ball, you know what happens? You miss it, go on top of the salt shaker.
Wow.
That's so weird. Now, I'm going to tell you genuinely how it works this time, okay? I'm going to tell you how it works. It's very, very simple. But first of all, let me show you one more time. Pop it in there yourself. Is that fair?
Yeah.
The lid goes off, yes? Are you ready? You see it in there. This is about as close to real magic as you can actually get. There's a hole in the bottom.
We want to see a little taller, right?
It's not a hole in the bottom, it's magic. Look, I'm going to teach you how it works. I'm going to teach you how it works. It's not a hole in the bottom, but it is magic. I'm going to tell you how it works, okay? There's 2 steps to this. Step number 1, you've got to make the ball invisible. So can you hold your hand out for me? We're going to make the ball invisible. Are you ready? All you have to do is squeeze. When you squeeze, the ball becomes invisible. You see, it's right there. Don't drop it. If you drop it, it's never. Put it in my hand. Step number 2 is when it's invisible, you can pass it through the salt shaker, even though it's not got a hole in the bottom. Look, it looks something like that. Are you following this now? Does that make any sense? No. But I'm gonna. It was Katie, right? I'm gonna let you do this yourself.
Okay.
It's getting exciting. Yeah. You're gonna actually do this yourself. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've never done this before, no? Take the ball. Hold it in your hand. Step 1 is to make it disappear. Hold it in your hand. Wave your other hand over. Make the most magical noise you know. Wow. If I was a ball, I'd disappear. Did it work? Open up your hand. Oh dear. Let me help. I'll make it disappear. Just like that. There we go. Now, don't drop it. For the big finish, you're going to drop it through your lid into the salt shaker. You ready? Hold it about here. And I'm going to try and do something amazing as you do. Right, when I say go, drop it. No, not yet. Go. Freeze. I've just frozen that moment in time. Do you know what happens when that happens? I froze the moment in time as the ball was going through the lid.
which meant that the lid has become solid with the ball stuck halfway in it, which is incredible. Do you know what though? I know how that works. What I don't understand is how anything went inside here when it is a solid salt shaker. Have a look at it. There's no way to put anything in. Feel the weight.
So there you go, guys. That is a full live performance of Crystallize. That's basically, I've tried to be as honest as possible. I've been almost exposing with this thing. I've explained that there's magnets. I've explained everything. The things that you need to know, it's not very difficult to do. If you don't want to do the Omni salt shaker at the end, you don't have to. You can leave that part out. And the nice thing about this is it's got varying different difficulty levels. The actual main routine where the ball goes into and out of the salt shaker is actually really easy to do, and you'll be able to do that without any problems at all very, very quickly. So if you're new into magic, you know, sometimes you don't put a routine into your act because you're worried and it ends up just not getting put in. The nice thing about this is you can put the salt shaker in and just do that moment and just do the ball going into and out of the salt shaker, and you can do that and get great reactions. And then when you feel more confident, you can put the other phases in as well. Now the switch of the salt shaker is not difficult to do at all because it's done completely under misdirection. You can literally palm an elephant in at that point, and the move that I've used to bring the salt shaker in is a little bit like a card. A card switch. It's based on a card switch from the Royal Road to Card Magic, but nobody's looking at it because they're all misdirected into another place at that point, if that kind of makes sense. So you've got so the point here is you can just do the salt shaker routine, or if you want to add the Omni salt shaker, you can. In all honesty with you, knowing the reactions that this gets, I would highly advise you to do the Omni salt shaker ending, because it is a killer ending and nobody ever sees it coming. And the whole routine is structured to build. So for example, you know, you start off with all of the different penetrations into and out of the salt shaker, and then from there, you know, boom, oh my gosh, the lid is solid. Oh, boom, oh my gosh, the salt shaker's solid. What the hell is going on here? The other thing that I should add is the moment at the beginning where I turned the salt into a salt ball. What's really nice about that is I always wanted to do that. I wanted to have an opening where the salt went into a salt ball, right? And I'm going to expose this for you and explain it because it's so practical. Because normally you need to carry a thumb tip around with you, and then the salt has to go into the thumb tip, and you know, you have to dispose of it, and it's another thing to wring in and out. Now I've got a thumb tip, how do I get rid of that? So what I did is I just took a sachet of salt. So hardly any salt. You know those sachets of salt that you get in places like KFC? I take, when I'm out doing Crystallize, I'll take like 10 sachets of salt and just put them in my pocket or something out the way, back pocket. And when I want to do Crystallize, the reset between tables is just to take one of those sachets of salt and pour it into the salt shaker and put the lid on. So it's not much salt, it's just enough. And then you have the salt ball palmed. So you come out and you show the salt in the salt shaker, and you unscrew it and you tip it into your hand like that. And now all you do is you just roll into a ball, and all that happens, it's a little bit like that Luke Osland thing with the sugar cube that appears. You just roll and you end up with a salt ball, and then you just take the rest of the salt and you just drop it down onto the floor, and then you just drop this into this and you're ready to begin. But you haven't needed to worry about a thumb tip. You haven't needed to worry about anything like that. It just looks like you've taken some of that salt, rolled it into a ball, and just thrown the rest away. It looks really good. And then to reset it, you just grab another salt packet, open it up, drop it in, and you reset, ready to go to the next table. So I was really proud of that moment, to be perfectly honest. So there you go. That's really everything that you need to know. It's not the cheapest product in the world because of the time and effort and money it took for PropDog to put this together. It is not the cheapest product in the world, but it is absolutely awesome, and I love performing it. I really do. And I'm so glad that I finally got to a point where it's released and available to the general public. So you can get it from PropDog. But I do believe that PropDog at some point are going to be putting it into Murphy's, and therefore it'll be with your favourite magic dealer. But I know that PropDog have them now ready to ship. But there you go, that's Crystallize. It's an incredible routine. I love it to bits. And it's just super practical, it's organic, and it makes sense. And because it's a bit like a chop cup, but because you're using a see-through, let me get a bowl, because you're using a see-through salt shaker, you see it. I mean, it's just so visual, it really is. So there you go. I love it to bits. I'm giving it 100%, as you would expect. If you've got any questions, please let me know, and I'll get to them on a Q&A, or I'll get to them on a future video. But yeah, it's 100%. It's absolutely brilliant. It's something I'm very, very proud of, and something I've been wanting to bring out for the last 15 years. And I have to say thank you to Dave Bonsall at the team of Prop Dog for finally putting me into a position where I can actually bring this out for you guys, because I love this so much. So there you go, it's getting 100%, and it's highly, highly, highly recommended. Outside of that, once again, guys, thank you so much for joining me here. This is a special one-off review show special. I'll be back on Sunday with another review show special, but this is a special one-off, talking about Crystallized. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I will be back again tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? On Saturday, with 4 videos. So I'm going to be here at 12 o'clock with a honest trailer, 2 o'clock with a what's happening at 2 with a shorts, 6 o'clock with Magic Live, and then 9 o'clock tonight I'm going to be back with a Talk Magic interview. But guys, one more time, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.